Good morning. So, in our first lesson, in our first time together last week, we talked about the mindset of imagining the future, kind of the thoughts that we have, the feelings that we have in the future. And if you if you weren't here last week, don't worry. There wasn't anything that you needed from last week to take part in this lesson. And one of the things when we talk about and start to imagine our future is that we think about the future in really broad, general terms, just like the future is in front of us. And we don't always think about the idea of the fact that what our future is 1 hour from now is very different than our future a week from now or 6 months from now. And all of those are very different from a future that is 5 years from now. And that, we can usually think about and predict what we're doing an hour from now way more than 6 months and certainly better than 5 years from now. So when we think about our futures inside and outside of Yes Philly, there's another way that I feel like we can think about this, which is there is today, there is what we can do right now, there is this term at Yes Philly. So from now through November, there's the time at Yes Philly, right, between now and graduation. For some people that may be to November, for some people that may be a few years from now. And then there's the steps after graduation, and then thinking about the more long-term future. And like you can see in this image, the further out we go into the future, the more faded that vision that we have can get, which is natural because we can't predict all the way to what will happen after graduation. But what we can do and what students can have is that some people do have a vision for that long-term future that drives them. So I know, talking to students last week, some students are interested in nursing or owning their own business or being an author, but that some students have a very clear vision of what they can see themselves doing not only after graduation but longer into the future. Other students right now might have no idea, or might have the idea of saying, I might want to be a nurse or an architect, or I might want to own my own business, but I don't know what that means. And so last week we talked about this as the difference between interests and curiosity. And so today, for our first question that I want you to respond to and answer is, do you have any clear vision for the future? And if so, what is that clear vision that you have? And if not, if you have a couple of ideas about that longer term future, just what are some ideas that you are curious about? And so they don't have to be, this isn't anything where anybody is making any decision about the future. It's really just starting to think about what might you be curious that you could maybe see yourself doing in the future. And so in these next few questions, if you have interest, you can put those down, and if you don't, then you can put none or NA, and then if there are things that you are curious about and you're like, I might want to do this, then you can put those in the second question that will be asked. So, thank you for those responses. And now, one thing I want to talk about is how even when we have these long-term ideas of our longer future, one of the things that we can do in our lives that's very important is bring these all to today. That all of when we think about the future, both today, this term, while at Yes Philly, right after graduation, longer into the future, we can still bring these to the present, and we can start to think about how we can act and how we can learn, or how we can set ourselves up to take advantage of situations that put us into either the position that we know we want to be in, or help us explore and learn more and make a decision about the future that we would want to have or pursue. So, a quick exercise, right, that we're going to do to help us think about what can you focus on today is brainstorming questions we have right now about these futures that we either know that we want to pursue or that we are curious to learn more about, even if we aren't saying, I know I want to do this, but I know I want to learn more about this. So when I say brainstorming questions, for this next exercise, I really want you to think of as many questions as you can about at least one of the areas that you wrote down before. So some of these questions could be something like, what is it like? What is this type of work, or what is this type of life like? What opportunities are available to me? Do I need to go to college for this, or can I start it another way? What skills can help me in this field? Who can support me? Are there people I could connect to now that could start to build me on this path, or provide mentorship or other resources or investment into me? And then last, what can I start right now? If you wanted to be a lawyer, for example, that does mean you would have to still go to college and to law school, which will be years into the future. But there are also things that you can start now, and those things aren't just watching Criminal Minds or CSI or Law and Order. There are other ways that you can start thinking about what the world of law and criminal justice looks like, so that as you're preparing for those next steps, you are set up better than other people because you already know about certain aspects, or you've already built some skills or made connections to people. So in this next exercise, I really would like for people to just brainstorm again any questions. And one thing I want you to think about with this is the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. So really, no right or wrong questions, no stupid questions. Just really want you to get into the habit of thinking about what questions you have, because they can start to show you how you can act and move towards your dreams, aspirations, or learn more about areas that you're curious to learn more about. So once you finish this exercise, then you can come back into the Zoom room. Thank you very much.